What is up, YouTubers and NFL fanatics? I am back with Week 16 football pick'ems, and boy, did I miss out on a lot of football. Not technically, I mean, I did watch a lot of football, but basically what I'm saying is I missed a lot of football from doing my videos. My computer basically shut down. The motherboard got fried for some reason. I don't know what I got in it, food, drinks, or something. I mean, I never had a big spill on the keyboard, but it's apparently something got into the motherboard, fried it up, and about a month or two ago it just died on me. So I hadn't had a computer to make videos. It was super inconvenient doing fantasy football this year and my picks. Just did them on my small Android phone, which is fairly annoying. But I'm glad to have my computer back. It's December, baby. We're getting close to the playoffs. So much has happened, but so little time. Let's get just to the picks. All right, first game we got the Tennessee Titans at the Jacksonville Jaguars. Wow, what a way to end Thursday night football. I mean, Thursday night football has really not been exciting for this whole season. They've been either blowout games. Hopefully the schedule maker next year can figure out the primetime games for these Thursday nights that make it actually want to be watchable. I mean, the only one I really enjoyed watching was Kansas City playing the Raiders, which the Raiders got their first win on an upset against Kansas City. Anyways, as far as my pick, I think I'm going to lean the Jaguars here. Should be a low-scoring game. Tennessee, who do they have? Whitehurst as quarterback? That's terrible. Sean Green and, what's his name? Bishop Sankey. Not getting it going. I like the Jaguars here with Bortles. They are on a short week, but as I look at the spread, -4, I think it is. Jaguars should probably edge out Tennessee here on a low-scoring game. All right, and then quickly we turn the page to Saturday. We have Philadelphia going to Washington. Divisional game. Philly did not show up against Dallas last week, which was a huge shocker. I mean, they were playing at home, and you know, Cowboys have been a dominant team on the road, apparently. So, too, I don't know. Philly has to win this game to have any chance to go to the playoffs. So I'm gonna roll with Philly here. I really hadn't been buying Washington all year. As soon as the season started, they just have been looking ugly. RG3 is playing. The defense is fairly good. I mean, it's above average defense, but in the end, I see Philly getting right after RG3 and making him uncomfortable in the pocket. It's a huge game, I guess, for Philly to see Deshaun Jackson on the other side, too, again. And that should be an interesting matchup, but I'm still going to roll here with Philly. And also, our next game on Saturday will be against, I think it's San Diego Chargers and the San Francisco 49ers. Man, San Francisco, I don't know what to think. They're in a turmoil here. So is San Diego, though. San Diego needs to get a win to have any shot to make the playoffs. Obviously, the San Francisco 49ers are out of the playoffs, but they're playing at home. I think I'm going to slightly lean towards San Diego to get the win. And the morning Sunday lineup for the NFL games, the first one I see on my list here is the Atlanta Falcons at the New Orleans Saints. Man, this NFC South division is so terrible. I do think that the team that does come out on top of this division deserves a playoff spot, which is how it should be, you know. But in the end, I'm going to have to actually roll with Atlanta here. Here's why. Saints have not looked like the same team at home. I don't know what is up with them. I mean, they got a much-needed win against the struggling Bears. But Atlanta, they're getting Julio Jones back. Harry Douglas just had a monster game last week, even though they did not win the game. But I still think Atlanta has a shot to go to New Orleans, just like Carolina did, and not blow them out, but they do have a good shot to win. And, you know, that Rob Ryan defense in New Orleans, I'm not buying it. So I don't know how they're going to stop both the whole trio in Atlanta, really. I think it's a big trap here for the Saints, and we're going to have to see this get down to the wire as far as next week. But I'm on with Atlanta in this game. Okay, next one, Detroit Lions at the Chicago Bears. Now, if you haven't already heard, Jay Cutler's already getting benched. So they're starting Jimmy Clausen, who we haven't seen for a couple years. And the Bears, I mean, I bet my money on them last week against the Saints. Very small wager. I am not betting them on this week. There's no way the Bears win this game. I gotta roll with Detroit here, and I guess we'll see that the NFC North Championship game comes down to next week at Week 17 in Lambeau. Next, we have Cleveland Browns at the Carolina Panthers. Obviously, we know Cam Newton got in a car accident. He's pretty much done for the year, and they're starting Derek Anderson. I believe that's the quarterback's name for Carolina. Cleveland, on the other hand, they look so poor with Johnny Manziel, at quarterback. But then again, I can't place all the blame on Johnny Manziel. I think he didn't have enough time to even set up and throw in the pocket, as the Bengals were just salivating at the mouth to just get to Johnny Manziel, and it obviously showed in that game. I think Johnny Manziel could have a potentially better game, as Carolina's defense has basically been a no-show all year, which has been quite weird since they were so great last year. But anyways, should be a close one, but I'm still going to roll with Carolina at home. Okay, my Green Bay Packers at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers now. I used to love this rivalry back in the 2000s. I mean, it was the Battle of the Bays, it was a big deal for me. And Tampa Bay back then was, I would say a decade ago, was relatively good. So, should be a great game. I mean, don't let the records fool you with anything. It's hard to get a win against anybody in this NFL league. So, Green Bay's got to show up. I think they will. I'm very confident that they can go in and get this win. Don't really care by how much. They just need to win, because that's what December's all about, winning. Kansas City at the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, this is a little toss-up for me. Pittsburgh's very hot and cold. I'm expecting them to win here, though, against Kansas City, as Kansas City had a fairly good win against the Raiders. But I think Pittsburgh has the ability to throw the ball and especially run the ball with the way that Le'Veon Bell's been running. I just like him at home here. I gotta go with the terrible towels. Minnesota Vikings at the Miami Dolphins. Now the Dolphins obviously cannot hang with New England Patriots last week. It was very ugly for them. But I think they can get a win here against Minnesota. Minnesota's still trying to find their way, trying to find their identity. I mean, they have something going with Teddy Bridgewater, but as far as both sides, I mean, they can try to keep things close, but I think Tannehill and the Dolphins do find a way to edge out Minnesota to somewhat keep their playoff hopes alive. Okay, New England Patriots at the New York Jets. Now, for some reason, I don't know why, but the Jets have a way of figuring out how to keep these games close against New England. So this is not going to be a landslide victory, which I'm going to go with the Patriots for this game. But I expect it to be close just like the last game. I mean, literally, the last game they played, it came down to, I think, a field goal that was missed. And the Jets barely lost the game. I mean, New England was able to squeak by. So now they're playing in New York. I think, Jets fans deserve something to cheer about this season, as they have just been so awful. And, hey, could catch New England by surprise this week, but I'm still going to roll with New England. Okay, Baltimore Ravens at the Houston Texans. I think I'm going to lean the Ravens here, as they probably need it more. I don't really have an analysis going in. I think I'm going to just trust Flacco in that offense. Defense is playing well, too. Houston, on the other end, I mean, they're having Arian Foster come back this week, and I think, who's his name quarterback? I don't even remember. Houston's been so up and down with their quarterback situations, it's not even funny. So, on that note, I'm going to roll with the Ravens. And finally, we have the midday games with New York Giants playing at St. Louis Rams. I don't know. I couldn't really pick this game. Kind of flipped the coin, and I ended up going with New York for this game. I think New York's kind of coming alive now. Now that they have a new receiver and Odell Beckham Jr., I really like that guy. That guy is super talented, and if they get Victor Cruz back, I mean, they got a 1-2 point punch at the receiver ends. But, St. Louis have a really stout, solid, definitely top 5 defense. They can get after Eli Manning and force turnovers to make him do the things that we know that he does so well. On that note, though, I'm not really buying what they did on offense last week. I mean, they just did not show up. So I'm going to roll with the offensive team here, the New York Giants. Buffalo Bills at the Oakland Raiders. I think this game could be interesting to watch, but I do think the Bills can manhandle the Raiders offense and Carr as to what they did on Packers last week. I mean, they should almost have the same game plan, because I think more than likely the Raiders are going to want to come out passing, as that their most suspectable weapon they would probably use. Running game, they have a lot of injuries to the running backs. I'm not really buying the running back situation in Oakland, so I expect them to put a lot of pressure on Carr, maybe lock down in man coverage again, have 4 guys rush and see if they can get to Carr and put the pressure on him. Anyways, Buffalo Bills here is my pick. The last evening game we have is the Indianapolis Colts playing in Jerry Jones World, Dallas Cowboys Stadium. Well, this is what it comes down to, really, for the Cowboys, in my opinion. I mean, if they win this game, they pretty much got a division title in their hands, and they're in. But we'll have to see, because they do not play well at home, and DeMarco Murray just had surgery on his hand. That's not good. That may put the ball into Tony Romo's hands, which, when that happens, awful bad things, misfortune happen to the Dallas Cowboys. So it's going to be interesting to see. Is he going to show up? They're going to play defense. I mean, that defense, in my opinion, is awful. I mean, I'm still not forgetting that Sunday night game when they played against New England, but they just got ran over. I mean, that's what Dallas might do, but they don't have their best player on the field. I mean, that's what they're hoping. I mean, he had surgery like 2 or 3 days ago, and I already read a report that he's practicing. I don't know about that. I mean, you should have the guy sit out a week at least. But, hey, I'm not the owner. I'm not the coach. Not my call. But it looks more than likely a mistakenly call if they do start DeMarco Murray in this game, potentially making him more susceptible to injuries later on in the coming weeks. So, with that on hand, I'm going to take Indianapolis for this matchup. And lastly, our Sunday night matchup will be between the Seattle Seahawks playing at Arizona. Wow, Arizona, they've been able to get by without Carson Palmer, and now they're going to have to get by with Drew Stanton, who's likely done for the year, and Ryan Lindley, their third-string quarterback. Wow. I've never seen a team be in this position where, they're so desperate at the QB position, yet they seemed unfazed by it. Now, I looked at the spread, and Seattle is favored by about 8 points, maybe even go up more at kickoff time. I'm going to roll here with the Arizona Cardinals to win the division championship, and here's why. First of all, they missed the playoffs last year as a over the 10 win mark team. They were over 10 wins, and they still did not get it. I think they're pretty desperate to at least get into the playoffs, and why not clinch the first round bye with a win against Seattle. Now, Seattle, their defense has been very good, but I was just reading today that they are 31st as a red zone defense. So if at any point the Arizona can get the ball in the red zone, they can potentially score some points here, not just field goals. And the offense on Seattle hasn't looked that great. They haven't been demolishing teams. They've been obviously winning games just to handle the teams that they need to handle, and that's about it. They aren't winning these games handedly, and Arizona's defense is no slouch too. If you remember the last game, Arizona had 7 sacks on Russell Wilson. So that's something to look out for. I'm really intrigued to watch this matchup as they are fighting for that first seed in the playoffs. Alright, and the last game is a Monday Night Football game against Denver, playing in Cincinnati against the Bengals. Now, whoa, what's wrong with Peyton Manning? He's not throwing any more passes as he used to. It's turning into a run football team, which is good. I suggest most teams run the ball in December. It gets cold. You need to have that ground and pound game going, and defense needs to step up. But Peyton Manning has a few nicks and bruises here and there. I don't know if it's going to be over a stomach virus thing. It looks like it. But on the other hand, Cincinnati is a lot better defense. As they showed against Cleveland, they just dominated them on all facets. They were putting pressure. They got interceptions, turnovers, sacks. They could do that to Denver, especially when they're playing at home. And they have a lot of expectations going up into this year's season. So they have a lot to prove, and they're getting close to that time where they get close to crunch time and they don't come through. So lots on the line here. They got to beat Denver, and I think I'm going to roll with the Cincinnati Bengals to upset Denver. All right, and those are my picks. Week 16 in the books. Should not miss any more from this point on. But I want to let you guys know I'm probably going to want to do in-depth analysis, my opinion on what I see and how I think things are going to turn out towards the end of the season and for the playoffs. My predictions for the playoffs. I was pretty hot last year predicting the playoff games. I mean, obviously I picked my Packers last year in San Francisco and that didn't happen. But for most of the part, I mean, I've picked 2 or 3 years the Super Bowl winners. You know, I mean, it's a 50-50 shot, but still, can't go wrong with that stat. And I think I did fairly well last year in the playoffs predicting winners. So, anyways, hope you guys stay tuned. Hope you guys are glad that I'm back, and I'm glad I'm back, and you guys like the videos. Anyways, hit me back up with any comments that are suggestions or whatever. And let's go, football fans.